Wicked ego must be killed, Master. It is on account of the ego that one is not able to see God. In front of the door of God's mansion lies the stump of ego. One cannot enter the mansion without jumping over the stump. There was once a man who had acquired the power to tame ghosts. One day, at his summons, a ghost appeared. The ghost said, "Now tell me what you want me to do. The moment you cannot give me any work, I shall break your neck." The man had many things to accomplish, and he had the ghost do them all, one by one. At last he could find nothing more for the ghost to do. "Now," said the ghost, "I am going to break your neck." "Wait a minute," said the man. "I shall return presently." He ran to his teacher and said, "Revered sir, I am in great danger. This is my trouble." And he told his teacher his trouble and asked, "What shall I do now?" The teacher said, "Do this. Tell the ghost to straighten this kinky hair." The ghost devoted itself day and night to straightening the hair. But how could it make a kinky hair straight? The hair remained kinky. Likewise, the ego seems to vanish this moment, but it reappears the next. Unless one renounces the ego, one does not receive the grace of God. Suppose there is a feast in a house and the master of the house puts a man in charge of the stores. As long as the man remains in the storeroom, the master doesn't go there. But when of his own wills he renounces the storeroom and goes away, then the master locks it and takes charge of it himself. A guardian is appointed only for a minor. A boy cannot safeguard his property. Therefore the king assumes responsibility for him. God does not take over our responsibilities unless we renounce our ego. Once Lakshmi and Narayana were seated in Vaikuntha. When Narayana suddenly stood up, Lakshmi had been stroking his feet. She said, "Lord, where are you going?" Narayana answered, "One of my devotees is in great danger. I must save him." With these words he went out. But he came back immediately. Lakshmi said, "Lord, why have you returned so soon?" Narayana smiled and said, "The devotee was going along the road overwhelmed with love for me. Some washermen were drying clothes on the grass, and the devotee walked over the clothes. At this the washermen chased him and were going to beat him with their sticks. So I ran out to protect him." "But why have you come back?" asked Lakshmi. Narayana laughed and said, "I saw the devotee himself picking up a brick to throw at them. All laugh. So I came back. I said to Kashab, 'You must renounce your ego.' Kashab replied, 'If I do, how can I keep my organization together?' I said to him, 'How slow you are to understand. I am not asking you to renounce the ripe ego, the ego that makes a man feel he is a servant of God or his devotee. Give up the unripe ego, the ego that creates attachment to woman and gold, the ego that makes a man feels he is God's servant. His child is the ripe ego. It doesn't harm one. Trailakya. It is very difficult to get rid of the ego. People only think they are free from it. Master Gauri would not refer to himself as I, lest he should feel egotistic. He would say this instead. I followed his example and would refer to myself as this instead of I. Instead of saying, I have eaten, I would say, this has eaten. Mathur noticed it and said one day, What is this? Revered father? Why should you talk that way? Let them talk that way. They have their egotism. You are free from it. You don't have to talk like them. I said to Kashab, since the ego cannot be given up, let it remain as the servant of God. Prahlada had two moods. Sometimes he would feel that he was God. In that mood he would say, Thou art verily I, and I am verily thou. But when he was conscious of his ego, he felt that God was the master and he was his servant. After a man is firmly established in the ideal of I am he can live as God's servant. He may then think of himself as the servant of God.